it is a real challenge to find areas to fly in here in the Phoenix metro area. Not impossible, but it is a challenge. Okay, on. Alright, getting set up. Let's go closer to the door so the wind is a little windy today. I have a little bit of a challenge when it comes to, I need to close the back doors as well. Still a little windy. Alright, close this. I'm going to cut down the draft. Alright. Now, alright, I have been looking for areas where I can go fly without too much of a challenge finding safe areas to fly. And there's so many people and so busy here in the Phoenix metro area. I'm in Mesa right now. So when I'm out flying projects, I get into some pretty interesting areas. When I just want to go freestyle and fly around, it's not job related, that becomes more of a challenge. Let's see, I need to check the airspace. We might be in Falcon Field airspace. Let's see. Where am I? And I'm in Falcon Field airspace. So let's get Lance. Alright, let's go to 200, part 107. Going to fly now. Okay. Let's put an hour. And part 107, check all the settings here, validate. Next. Agree and submit. Alright. There, got authorization. Okay, so we are authorized to fly now. So finding places, because there's a lot of controlled airspace here in the Phoenix metro area. One of the things that I do look at is safety. The first thing is safety. Can I fly safely? And that's the first thing. The next thing is trying to pick an area where I won't get bugged too much or hassled, because I don't like being hassled. I want to fly and just sit back, relax, and enjoy. I don't want 20 questions. Although it's gotten better over the years, when I first started flying 10 years ago, man, there was people, you can't fly here, and all those scenarios that's gone on. Now that was a way back. I haven't been hassled in probably, let's say, a couple of years. I think people have somewhat gotten used to drones and they're a little bit more relaxed about it. But that's where we're at right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me get my settings going up here, going on. I want to format format. I want to format the card on the goggles. Format internal storage. I use internal storage. I don't really need a card. Alright, let's start recording. Click the right button here. Okay, so now we're screen recording and recording on the Avata 2. But I do need to clean my lens a little bit here. Okay. Alright, clean my lens on the goggle. Alright, that looks a little cleaner. Alright. You can see here I'm using a motion controller, and I'm using the goggles. I like flying this way for my videos. Alright, let's see another say. I want to check my max height, return home, altitude. I can leave that at 197. That looks good. Alright, start the propellers. Motor starting. And we'll do a manual takeoff. As you can see here with the tilt, it's pretty windy. Let's go forward a little bit. Alright, so we're recording. Let's take and do a quick look around here. Pretty noisy right here, right by the freeway. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to change it to sport mode. Alright, I don't fly acro or manual mode. I want to use the tools that are available, which is GPS stabilization, so forth. So I'm just going to get a little bit familiar here with the area before I really take off and do too much. Kind of look for power lines and obstacles. I don't want to bump into any obstacles. So that looks pretty forgiving there. And you can see them up here on the bridge. So, as I was saying, I look for safety. I want to fly safe. Don't want to bump into anything. I do not like crashing at all. So I do everything I can and use all the tools available. GPS stabilization. I use all of those things that are available so that I can avoid crashing. That doesn't mean I don't crash. Maybe in the 10 years that 10, 11 years, I can't remember anymore now, but out of all those years, I've only crashed twice in the Phantom 4 Pro, and I've been really fortunate to watch what I'm doing and not have crashed any of my other drones. It's not fun. Okay, so now we got the safety thing out. So another safety factor is, okay, so let's say I am flying along and my drone decides to just stop flying and hit the ground. So I pick routes and flight lines when I'm actually doing the mapping that, should the drone fall out of the sky, that it's going to be in a safe area, not hit people or cars or damage any property. That's another thing I really kind of watch what I'm doing. So I'm just this is my first time flying in this area, so I'm just kind of like taking it nice and easy, get familiar with the area, doing some high flying right now so I can search for and look for obstacles. I'm also trying to get better at talking while I'm flying. That's something that is a little struggle for me, and trying to come up with things to say. I think a lot of stuff, I just don't always voice it verbally. But in this scenario, I'm just taking it one step at a time, trying to get comfortable with talking and flying at the same time, because I want to remain focused. I also want to work on doing some orbits with this motion controller. It's a little bit more difficult. With RC controller with the two sticks, it's really easy to do orbits. But the motion controller, there's a little bit more work. Okay, so, and getting smooth flights with as I'm using the motion controller, trying to do it smoothly. So here I'm going to cross the bridge. So I'm using the bridge as my safety barrier should the drone fall, that it's not going to fall down into traffic. As you can see, there is lots of traffic. I was looking at coming down here. Street view showed it being open, but they built a lot of fences since Street View, and Street View hasn't been updated. Alright, so let's get a little focused here. Let's keep an eye on where I'm at. Come back across this bridge. We got street lights here. We don't want to hit those. It is really windy, as I mentioned earlier, so the Avata 2 handles the wind okay. It's just that the drone, is tilting into the wind to compensate for it. And one thing the Avata does not have that my Matrice 4 Enterprise has is it has air awareness, where ADS-B does pop up on my Matrice 4 Enterprise to let me know when, when there's airplanes in the area. The Avata does not have air sense, is what it's called. So, you have to be more cognitive of your surroundings. I can hear some airplanes flying around. They're not going to be down in where I'm at, but I know the airport quite well. I have flown in and out of Falcon Field with manned aircraft and on helicopters, so I'm pretty familiar with the airspace and the traffic that does come in and out of Falcon Field. It's quite busy airport. Alright, so as I'm flying, I want to keep an eye on my battery. We're still recording. So I got 39%. That's another thing I don't do, is I don't take the battery down to absolute zero, if you want to call it that. I'd leave reserve battery life in there so that I can fly and get back home safely. I see a lot of people on YouTube that try to get every ounce of flight out of their battery, and they do take some risk, and some of them have not made it back to their launch point because they took it too low. But I don't take those risks. Alright, 31%. So I'm going to be landing here and swapping out batteries in a minute. I do want to try some orbiting, but I'm going to wait till I switch the batteries. Alright, so let's kind of head back here so you can see there's where I launched from. So I'm going to come in here and do my landing that I like to do. Kind of line up with the landing pad, kind of like right between the cones. Now some people or quite a few people on YouTube I accidentally used the thumbstick here and moved it in the wrong direction as I was coming down. Auto takeoff. Hey. Alright, let's get a shot from here. 92% battery. So anyway, I was saying that some people on YouTube will stretch their battery out, trying to get every ounce of flight time. That's not me. I like having reserve. It's actually safer, and that may be from my reserve that I had in with fuel and manned aircraft from those days. My manual flight time is behind me, so this is my flying that I do now. It does give me what I need to do some flying. I get that, what do you call it, scratch that itch. Alright, let's see if we can do an orbit around this. I gotta learn how to actually pick. Let's go back to normal mode, just so it flies a little slower. So now if I wanted to do an orbit around that head wall, I think I can just keep that circle centered on my point of interest. Whoops, but I don't want to go too fast. And you can see there that I'm drifting away from it a little bit. Let's pull back up here. Alright, now let's try it again. Keeping it nice and smooth is a challenge. So it will take some practice to get the smoothness down. I could turn on horizontal stabilization and it would make it look a little nicer. So let's try that. Let's put it in pause. Is it gonna let me do it? Let's see here. Right now it's rock steady. Oh, I'm recording, so I gotta stop recording. Now let's try the orbit with horizontal stability turned on. So that should be smoother. And the video capture on the drone itself. Scoot up a little bit here. Alright. And I'll do a comparison when I review the videos to see how, whoops, I need to go up. This joystick's a little sensitive on the motion controller. And I could probably go adjust some of those settings on it. But right now I just kind of want to go with the default and practice with it. If I can master the default, let's go the other, let's orbit the other direction. So the horizontal steady on the recording will make it more cinematic, where the rock steady makes it more FPV type. So they both work and they both look good. I just default to the rock steady one. So now when you're orbiting, you want to be aware of what's on the side of you. I can't see it, I just need to be familiar with the area. So I know I got the fences and bushes, so I don't want to go low. So I can take it up with the joystick. Let's go the other way. It is going to take some practicing to get this orbit nice and smooth. So it may take several takes to make it work better. Alright, that's enough. All right. Gotta be careful with the low flight, because if you crash, I'm gonna have to figure out how to get in here to go get it. But I'm just gonna be careful and not crash. You can hear another airplane. And it's not, I thought it was an airplane, it was a car. It was a truck on the freeway. They almost sound the same. Now that's an airplane. I can't stop and look. I'm low enough, so it's not gonna be a conflict. But it is something that you got to be aware of. When you're out flying, especially in controlled airspace, because they're all over the place. So let's take a look at this here. I'm not going to get too low today. I'm not super familiar with this area, and I don't want to get to a place where I'm trapped. Now that gate's open right there, so if I was to get stuck in here somehow, I can get in there to get my drone. But we're not going to do that. We're going to take it easy. So let's go down here. And we'll go under this power line. Now there is head tracking with this particular drone and the motion controller, and the head tracking works the same as that anti-gravity one that came out, the 360 drone. And I can fly with the head tracking. It's not really hard. I do like this a little better because it's more like flying a helicopter, and similar to flying an airplane. Although you can turn your head and look around in those aircraft. So we could turn head tracking on and look around and do the same thing here, but to me, this is a little bit more controllable, and I am into want to control my flights. Let's see, 44%. So it is possible, if I wanted to fly under that bridge. I'm just going to be cautious because I don't know about losing radio contact. Right now it's pretty open, so I could probably go a mile out and still keep radio contact. Let's turn sport mode on, and let's shoot over here. We've got 40%. So I'm going to come over here to the far end of this thing and just look at our connection signals and see how they are going to hold up. So I'm out at 800 feet. I have done some range tests, and I have flown this thing a mile out, but I only did it temporarily because I wanted to keep the drone in line of sight. It's a little dot, and you can see the drone when it's out that far. So here we are, 1,600 feet, got good signal. If I lifted my goggles up, I could see it. It'd be a little dot. It would be kind of hard to find right at first, but since I know what direction to look, I'm really good at You know, I'm a professional land surveyor, so I'm really good at directions and knowing where everything is. I've got years and years of experience of dealing with that, so me losing the drone and not knowing where it's at, I've never had to deal with that. It may be out far enough that it's just the size of a bird and it's really hard to see, but when you have all the telemetry that we have nowadays with this technology, not being able to see it instantly when you look up, you can keep track of where it's at way better with all the instrumentation that we have than you can visually looking at it. Because if I were to look at it visually and go, well, where am I at? That spatial awareness is kind of disorienting because you don't know. You can see the dot and you can see it out there, but you don't. Oops, low battery. Alright. It started doing an auto landing, so I got to talking. See, there's one of the things I'm going to have to get used to. I got to talking and lost track of watching the battery. So I do need some more experience, and that's okay. I don't mind getting experience. But here we come. Alright, landing. Alright, stop recording. Thank you for watching my videos on survey mapping made simple. To see more, like and subscribe.